Fuck.
Exactly.
All right. Close all this shit. All right. Welcome to episode 119 of the Podcast Terror production of the Galactic Network. For more on this podcast, including show notes, content information, subscription links, you can go to gncast.com/pot. I'm your host, Matt Stein. With me, as always, is Corey Mexican Hot Chocolate Scott.
Thank you for going with that description. That is not ideal, but very honest.
It's true. It happens to the best of us. How's
It's
Corey?
happening to me. I'm a delicate ecosystem that is not going to survive much longer. Thank you, EPA.
Made a Simpsons movie about that.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, that's right. EPA.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it was a good movie, but it exists, and it exists.
And speaking of, not sure if it's a good movie, but it exists. This week we're going to be talking about The Devil's Rejects.
Hey, man, I really like this movie.
Hey, don't get ahead of yourself.
Well, the way that you prefaced that made it sound like you thought it sucked.
We'll talk about it.
I mean, we could probably just do that now if you want. That's kind of why we're here.
Yeah, I mean, how long have we? Well,
you can literally do whatever the fuck we want.
We usually bullshit about fast food or something. My morning was made of a regretful box of mac and cheese, so I can certainly feel the urge to get this done as quickly as possible, just in case I get the second haunting of my lower intestine.
The second coming of Corey's intestine Christ.
Which is funny because I did another one of those impromptu fake ads on Elts Nerds the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically they send you a box to shit in and you get paid for it. I didn't realize that I was having a premonition about my own fucking life, which is another Simpsons thing.
That's very true. We could just keep making real life correlations to the Simpsons if you'd like.
If only there was a Simpsons podcast that we could send people to instead.
Yeah, I bet if there was one, it'd be run by two jackasses that owe me beer.
Or Dan asses.
I didn't even think about that. Didn't even do it on purpose. It ended up working out pretty well.
Yep.
If you don't get that reference, you missed 118 episodes of the show.
Yeah, seriously. We've been sucking their dicks for a long time.
Yeah, I've moved on to Jack's balls. I've asked him politely to shave or do some trimming because he's very hairy.
Oh man,
and it's
Italian
just
breeder.
Oh my god, yeah, he is. It's a lot of man.
They're always dressed up for winter.
Good thing he lives in a cold climate location then.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, let's
so
get into it.
Do you want to talk about fast food? Oh, okay. We're not going to talk about fast food.
No, man.
I ate McDonald's yesterday for the first time in probably a good year.
Yeah? How do you feel about it?
I mean, I don't know if it was the McDonald's or the dozen beers I drank yesterday, but...
Yeah, who was expecting the big changes that came from McDonald's over the last year? That you'd walk in there and everything would be completely different and taste like a whole new kind of food.
Wait. What?
No, I'm bullshitting. McDonald's is exactly the fucking same.
I was like, yeah, except they now have a triple cheeseburger.
Right, which is just more shit. Again, yeah, McDonald's is so fucking pompous. They have something called a McDouble.
Yep.
And a double cheeseburger.
Yep. Yeah, because only one has 2 pieces of cheese.
Right, that's exactly it. And it's like a fucking... It's a difference in price of... Really? I'm paying for the extra cheese. And what is your cheese made out of? Because I assume there's more nutrition than the quarter it's costing me.
I don't know. It's pretty fucking good, though. Like, I really like their terrible cheese.
Yeah, I don't hate them.
There's a word I forgot to say in there, and I can't think of what it is. Plus, they have that new, like, fancy build your own burger shit going on.
Yeah, by the way, if you do not have the McDonald's app on your phone, and if you are a person who frequents McDonald's, you need to download that shit because for the last month or so, you can get that specialty burger or whatever specialty sandwich you want for $1.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no shit. Like I use the app all the goddamn time, which means that I have a fucking problem.
Yeah.
But what they're trying to encourage people to do is order online and then go pick the shit up.
Yeah.
Which I assume is their thought process of we're eventually going to get rid of people who take your orders.
Well, I know a lot of the bigger cities have like ordering kiosks. So you just walk up to a computer and type in your order, and that's how you get it, which makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, I'm picky as shit, so it does make sense for me to do that. But then I still go through the drive-through and go through all the other fucking hassles of like making me McDonald's employees help me so that they can retain their fucking jobs.
yeah, that's true. I had used Taco Bell's app a handful of times. That was a good time.
Oh, McDonald's, I'm sorry. Taco Bell, I'm real picky on.
Oh,
I hate their nacho cheese gunk. I want real cheese. But it sucks that you take something off and then you replace it with something, and that they're going to charge you extra for that thing you're putting on. It's not like you got a credit for getting rid of the nacho swill.
Well, you are paying because you're making an idiot think.
No, that's just it.
I say that in like the nicest way possible, but like they're charging you because you're making that person think about what they have to do, which is kind of fucked up in my opinion. It's like, you know what? Give me like a $3 discount and I'll just go in there and make it myself.
Why don't I just go shit in the bathroom again and make it myself? Because that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Ooh. You gonna frost the cake when you're done?
Ooh. Yeah, it looks more like a cherry's jubilee.
Wait, you cum blood?
Not cum blood. Gross.
Well, frosting the cake is when you take a shit and then you jerk off on top of it.
Oh, I did not know that. I'm really not privy to some of the internet speak of which you are swinging my way.
Yep.
No.
Well,
thank you. No, in Clive Barker's Great and Secret Show, that is how he made little creatures called licks. I think Lich. That this guy took a shit and then masturbated on it, and then they became little worm-like creatures like Night of the Creeps.
Huh.
I think that was the Jaff, if I remember correctly.
I call that my afternoon meeting.
That's true. And just pounding on your meat.
Yeah, just beat it till it looks like a big old Twizzler. I'm literally
Eddie Van Halen shows up and does a solo just because.
Just because? Is that just because? All right.
Because
I didn't know if there was
the Eddie Van Halen did the solo for Beat It.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I also didn't really care, but now I know that, and now I care because you told me.
Yep.
I'm still looking at the McDonald's menu for some ungodly reason.
I'm not sure that I'm not wrong on the Eddie Van Halen thing too, but.
Oh, all right.
If you want to correct me, internet, PoT@gncast.com.
Yeah, it was Eddie Van Halen.
Ah, God, I hate when I'm right.
All right. We watched the Hot for Teacher music video last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'd ever seen it in its entirety, but I could totally see, like, if I was a kid when that came out.
Oh, we were all, like, over that video. Like, everybody doing a little voiceover about Waldo. I remember some guy in my hallway screaming, I forgot my pencil, or I've got my pencil, give me something to write on. But Richard Cheese and Lounge Against the Machine does a stellar version of Hot for Teacher because it opens with a piano solo doing the guitar solo. It is just fantastic. And if you haven't listened to Richard Cheese anyways and all of his lounge covers of songs, you absolutely should. They feature his version of Down with the Sickness in Dawn of the Dead.
I didn't even realize that he's still making music. Yeah, I saw Slipknot once, and Richard Cheese's People Equal Shit was like their intro to the show. It was fucking great. Yeah, I didn't realize he put out a new album this year called Lord of the Swings.
Yep.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah, it's
all the time too. Fuck.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's not something you're going to listen to like 9 albums straight of his stuff, but they're fun to throw on every once in a while. It's like a Weird Al album.
Yeah.
You know, you get a good time out of it, and then you move on to more original music, and then you come back. It's a palate cleanser every once in a while.
There used to be, you could go on his, here it is, Hire the Band. He has a list for hire. and it's this big long. So the booking form, it says, please cut and paste these questions. Email message to book followed at whatever. Event date, event time, detailed description of the event, who, what, where, why. Be very specific. Don't just type wedding. Event location include complete name. God damn it, I can't read. Complete name and address, the city, state, venue name, capacity, provide venue's website, your budget, how much can you afford? You must answer this question with a specific dollar amount. Remember, the band charges between $10,000 and $16,000, not including airfare, hotel, equipment, and expenses. There used to be this looks totally different, but the last time I saw it, it was like if you are in a place where it snows, like they charge you an extra $1,000 just because
nobody can handle that shit.
Yeah, just because.
Yeah, it's kind of like paying for special insurance if you're a place that floods. Which in Michigan, where my parents live, and my sister, it is really fucking flooded. It is crazy.
They're over in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The southwest portion of Michigan, but I guess like up through Lansing and everything, it is just a fucking massacre out there right now.
Did it rain
yesterday? Oh yeah, I guess, and it filled up, and my mom lives in a town called Three Rivers, so you can imagine how much fun that is when it's flooding and everything's crawling up towards your front fucking porch.
Yeah.
But then I guess yesterday the wind blew so hard that it knocked out power for a good portion of Michigan as well.
Fuck that.
So that's a nice add-on. But we're not here to talk about the weather. We are here to talk about Rob Zombie and how Rob Zombie loves to make you feel bad for people. But not really. It's more of celebrating the people who you think are just total dicks. And
he also likes to love. He loves putting his wife who can't act in movies.
And showing her butt crack.
I'm not upset about that part.
She is an attractive lady. But yeah, he features her and everything. Actually, that's something that I was going to bring it up, is that a lot of the cast in The Devil's Rejects, which is the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, what we reviewed last week, a lot of the cast went on to be in Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween. Mm-hmm. Not least of all his wife, but a good amount of other people are in it, which was, I don't know if this was just kind of like the practice run of, okay, we're going to make this little movie. And then while we got everybody here, hey fuckers, want to do Halloween? Why not?
I mean, it could have been something like, you know, how, what's his name? Billy Madison.
Adam Sandler?
Adam Sandler. Thank you. How he uses like a lot of the same people on every movie. Like, I guess you work with people, you like working with them, and you just keep having them come back.
Yeah, Kevin Smith is like that too, and I completely agree with that mentality. And if you got a bunch of people who are really good at playing freaks and weirdos, and you're going to do a movie about freaks and weirdos again, mm-hmm. Nice to have stock on hand instead of having to go look and find new freaks and weirdos. Because you're not going to get them at the Dollar General. You will get them at the Walmart.
Ooh, good old Walmart. There's a reason that there's a people at Walmart website. A lot of weirdos.
And it's funny because they don't have the internet. I'm just teasing Walmart people. I will be among you one day. Yeah, so The Devil's Rejects. You like it?
Yeah, did you not?
Well, remember how I was surprised last week how much I enjoyed House of a Thousand Corpses more than I expected to?
Yeah.
This doesn't have all the weirdness of that movie.
It's a lot less weird and a little more straightforward.
Right. And I think because of that, and it's just honed in on the brutality of these characters, it was less enjoyable for me. But just a stellar cast all the way through. It was nice to see William Forsythe show up at the very beginning. I know that you had said that the woman who played Mama was played by someone different in this.
Yep.
And when I recognized her as being from the Police Academy movies, I got super excited. But we got PJ Souls. We've got E.G. Daily from Pee-wee's Big Adventure and singing in Better Off Dead, other things.
I never knew that.
I forget her name. I think it's Karen or something, but she was on Too Close to Comfort, and she was on The Warriors and Streets of Fire. Uh, Ginger Lynn has a cameo in this. Fucking Sid Haig as Captain Spaulding in his dream sequence. Do you know who Ginger Lynn is?
No, but I'm gonna Google it.
Oh God, yeah. I'm surprised it's not already on your internet, because Ginger Lynn is a porn star from the '80s.
Like, should I Google this in incognito mode?
You absolutely should.
Yes.
So, Ginger Lynn famously in my life taught me what the G spot was.
Hey, she lives in Illinois. I should go see if she's home.
You should. She was also in the Metallica "Turn the Page" video, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, she did some movie which was about. I don't know why I'm trying to edit this down. I know what this show is. It's about squirting and feminine discharge, and the whole movie was just like scenes of that happening. But it was like a clinical sort of thing of, she does it once with her boyfriend, and then he thinks there's something wrong with her, and she thinks there's something wrong with her, so they start to go to a therapist. But then it's just like continues through the whole rest of the movie is about like how it's okay and it's normal, and hey, the therapist is involved now. I also think I found out years later that it was one of the movies that Tracy Lords did before Tracy Lords was legally allowed to be doing those kinds of movies.
Oh.
I'm not 100% on that, but I remember later on going, "Oh, Tracy Lords, yeah, I know who that is." You shouldn't. Oh, okay.
This ginger lady was in Beverly Hills Cops. Yep. I'm a big fan of adult parody films of normal movies. Mostly the names. The movies
of the not even
bad.
Trying names. Yeah,
nope.
Exactly.
Nope. Well, they've given up now. Now everything is Suicide Squad or Triple X parody.
Right.
They don't even, like Butthole Squad.
Yep. No, I think the last thing that we got was Star Wars, which was in the Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Right, now it's just a Triple X parody. Star Wars, Triple X parody. That's all it is. Just fucking give it up.
Yeah, well, they figure if we just say that it's a parody, then we can't get sued, and that's all that matters. So why even try to? I was going to say pussyfoot around it.
Funny.
Yeah, because the names are funny. There is something more creative to it, but they don't want creativity. They just want people to sit there and whack off to Harley Quinn.
I'm not. I don't blame them.
I feel like that's what people are doing with a regular movie. They don't need a porn parody.
That's true. That's true. Isn't she getting her own movie?
She is supposed to be getting. She's supposed to be getting her own movie. She's supposed to be getting a movie of her and the Joker. She's supposed to be getting a Gotham City Sirens movie as well. They know what the high point was of Suicide Squad. It was her.
Well, then they shouldn't. They shouldn't do a Harley Quinn and Joker movie.
Yeah, I know. Well, they're planning on doing a bunch of Joker movies, but not all of them are going to have the same guy playing them.
Oh, I mean, I like Jared Leto, so I'm not opposed to him playing the Joker. I just know a lot of people were not happy.
Well, it would be nice if when they advertised the shit out of him as being in the movie, if they'd actually used more of that footage. But yeah, I guess Martin Scorsese is talking about doing an origin of the Joker movie, and one of the recent rumors was that Joaquin Phoenix was supposed to play the Joker in a standalone film. So I don't know, man. Everything DC film universe is doing is a fucking reach right now, and I keep saying that it's vaporware. Until something fucking happens, I don't believe it's actually going to exist. They've had 9 people come in as directors and leave on The Flash. That's an exaggeration, but not by much. So, and that's one of the characters that hasn't really gotten fucked over yet.
Yeah.
Not like Superman or Batman.
Yeah, but I don't know. Now I don't know. I don't want to upset anyone by my views on DC Marvel movies.
Have you seen Black Panther yet?
No, and I've heard it's good, but also like Black Panther to me is like a third or a fourth string character. I'm not saying he is. I'm just, to me, like the casual fan, he's pretty far down the list. So it's like now they're reaching to get lesser known characters movies to keep making superhero movies, and I think that's absolutely
That's absolutely correct. When you look at the pantheon, the staple of Marvel characters, I wouldn't say that Captain America is a C squad character, but I don't know that he was necessarily an A squad character. For Marvel, it was Spider-Man was huge. The X-Men from about the 90s on were absolutely gigantic, but most of the Avengers were not as popular in their solo books or even the team book. And the team book fell to the wayside because they kept involving characters that were really like sub-level. But Iron Man, Captain America, Thor were not big names. Captain America at least had a couple of tries at TV movies in the 70s, the 80s. They kept trying to put it out there, but he was a hard one to capture.
Yeah.
Because the point of view is that, well, he's just like a Boy Scout, much in the same way that Superman is a Boy Scout. But what they did with Cap is they embraced it and they did things to still allow him to be cool while not being against what his origins were or the fact that he is, a really kind of righteous hero. They embraced all the things about Tony Stark that were, kind of questionable. Like, well, can we make him an alcoholic? Can we make him such an asshole and everything? It's like, yeah, if we get the right guy with a personality to do it and put Robert Downey Jr. in the role where it just was like, holy shit, this could be an autobiography about him. This is perfect. And I feel like until you get to see them up on the screen, none of these characters are top tier characters, but then you see what they are making with them, and that's what sets it apart. Doing Ant-Man as a heist movie, it's not really exactly true to the original Ant-Man, although they involve him in the film. They use a secondary character in that old storyline of like the replacement Ant-Man, and then they do something different with it. Doctor Strange is very Doctor Strange, but he only ever works in teams. So to have him do a standalone didn't make a lot of sense, and it's very origin heavy in the movie. But it works better than you would think when they've made attempts before. Black Panther, on the other hand, they have given him such a rich world, and a lot of this has been developed from the comics, but it's only in recent years where they've given a rich world, a rich group of characters to surround him with, a very compelling antagonist. Beatmaster, our producer at Elsenerds, will get on me if I call him a villain again. And it's just so visually different, deeper, smarter than most everything else that super movies have done. I cannot recommend it enough. I feel like even if you aren't a person who's been watching the Marvel movies, you would still enjoy this film if it's the kind of film that you enjoy. I'm not saying it's for everyone and it's the next fucking Citizen Kane or anything, but it is a really good goddamn movie.
So how about The Devil's Rejects?
Less so.
Less so. So it's not as good as Black Panther in your opinion?
No. No. You want to get into it? We can get into it.
Yeah. We kind of have to. That's what we tell people we do here.
All right. First of all, one thing I did not realize when we watched House of a Thousand Corpses last week is that the shit's taking place in the 70s.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Yep. House of a Thousand Corpses seemed like it could have been as modern as anything else for 2000 when it was made.
Yeah.
Probably because of all the Rob Zombie movie playing or music playing in the background and shit. But I just didn't think this is taking place in 1977, 1978. And so when this one starts up and they're telling us, oh, in 1978, they went and they raided this house and shit. I'm like, oh, is this about the dad? No, this is about them. Okay, sure. Makes the soundtrack make more sense in this.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that they did not use. I don't think there was any Rob Zombie music in this movie. Not that I don't really like Rob Zombie's music, but I don't hate it. It just seemed like this one felt a lot more, a lot bigger budget. Just because they used like more locations and it looked a little more polished and it had less weird transitions and he didn't just use his own music.
Right. Yeah. In the first one, when it was being made through, what did we say? It was Universal.
Yeah.
When Lionsgate finally got a hold of it, and they released it, it made its budget in its first weekend being out. And so
Yeah.
they were right then like, hey, you should work on a sequel. That was several years after the first one was actually made, but by the time it finally got released, it was popular enough. They were like, you should do another one now. And he already had some ideas as to doing something with the brother of the sheriff from the first one. But when it got solidified, he's like, okay, sure. And then this one, I guess, when it came out, also made its budget in the first weekend and went on to make an additional. I think it was budgeted at 7 million, and it made about 17 overall, which is good for a small independent horror movie like this that kept getting rated NC-17 until they finally trimmed some of the gun rape stuff out of the hotel scene.
It was budgeted at 7 and it made 19, and the first one was budgeted at 7 and made 16.
Yeah,
which
so
still
exactly. So it starts out pretty much right after the first one, or it doesn't feel like much time has passed. I think there's still some of the cheerleaders are on the grounds in the house. Tiny's running around out in the fields, and who's the other one that we don't really know his name? RJ.
Yeah, he gets killed right away.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm old. Yeah, I don't know.
So the cops all show up at the house. I don't know exactly how they knew where they were going, but it seems like when the other cops went out there and suddenly disappeared from the first film, there were going to be repercussions of that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I wish they would have explained a little more as to how the brother of the cop found out and, coordinated this big raid, and they all went there one morning, and the house looks a lot different, both the outside and the inside from the first one, which I thought felt a little odd, but
because they aren't filming on the same lot that they were before.
Right.
But there is also something that I thought of instead was you're looking at it in this one in the daylight, whereas the other one you saw it always at night.
Yeah, but the other one, it was more of like a treed. Like it looks like it was more in a forest instead of just next to a forest. And this one, it was like a big field next to a forest.
Yeah.
It's all very nitpicky stuff here, by the way.
Yeah, and we're looking at it with eyes of people who just watched the other movie last week. But no, I agree with you. It's not a make or break thing, but it is, noticeable, but also easy to skip.
Yeah.
If you can glaze over the fact that the mom is played by a different actress, and you can glaze over the fact that there's not the same tree in front of the window that there was the last time.
That's a good point. Did you like the mom in this one better than the first one?
I like them both. I didn't have a complaint about either one. Karen Black was in the first one. I like her a lot. She had a great horror pedigree. This actress, like I said, I knew her from a lot more stuff in the sense of way too many Police Academy movies have made it to my eyeballs in my lifetime. But I think she did a very serviceable job. And I expected when they switched actresses that she was going to disappear sooner. When she goes to pull the gun on herself during the police raid, I expected that to be it for her, so that they utilized her more. Was good. It gave her more meat to the role. I thought maybe that's why Karen Black didn't return.
Oh.
But her scenes with Forsythe's character as the sheriff were good. She definitely lent herself to what was a creepy moment of her trying to seduce him and getting stabbed at the same time.
Yeah. I think like those scenes really helped show the cop like just starting to lose his mind.
Yes. And that's part of the problem I have with this to a certain degree, is that it becomes difficult to see differences between the Firefly family and the guy and the Unholy Two that are pursuing the Firefly family. They don't seem to no one is better than the other one. Like the Firefly family is really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But then these other guys just come in and do essentially the same sorts of things, which isn't it doesn't compel you to say that there's a good guy and a bad guy. It's just you fuckers are terrible, but we caught you, so now we get to be terrible to you.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more of a revenge story than a good versus evil story, in my opinion, because you have the cop who wants to basically torture these people who are torturing people and also killed his brother. So it has nothing to do with the police trying to catch the bad guy. It's more so this brother who's trying to, get back someone who killed his brother.
Yeah, he goes crazy really fast.
Yeah, but like you said, who's really the bad guy here? In my opinion, I was rooting for the Firefly family.
See, that's the thing is I can't root for the Firefly family after that whole scene in the hotel. Like where it's totally just so vile. Yeah.
But I don't know. Obviously, I'm very partial to Captain Spaulding as a character, but I still think Otis has played very well. One thing that kind of bothers me is and this is going back to how much time has passed, because in the first one he does not have a beard. This one he has a giant beard.
Mm-hmm.
His hair is very thin in the first one, and in this one it's still stringy and weird, but it's not that thin.
Yeah, it's fuller.
Yeah, so I mean, he clearly had enough time to grow a giant beard and use some Rogaine.
Yeah, I kind of worry a little bit that if I took my hair out of its ponytail and took my glasses off, I would look a little too similar to Otis. Except like if Otis ate 4 other Otises.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this.
Yeah. But the continuity stuff, yeah, I understand. And it really depends on how long it's been between. They don't give a real statement, but you're right. It does feel like it's either right away, because how long would it have taken to figure out where the bodies and stuff were coming up from, or has it been a while and we don't know why. The explanation of that, you're right, it would be nice to have a little bit more, but it seems like they just wanted to jump into it.
Right. Yeah, I also thought the jumping around a bit, but for Otis to put the guy's face back on, I thought it was a little meh. You already did it once. I get it probably got a good reaction from people in the first movie, so they're like, well, we got to fucking do it again.
Yeah, and that whole thing, just, I know that it's based off of real serial killers and stuff like Ed Gein and things, but at this point in time, we've seen it so much in Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies and other stuff that it feels repetitive. It doesn't feel like anything new. When he puts the face on the girl, I'm like, that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Again, in my mind, because that's the first one I saw, it's always going to go back to that, and it doesn't seem to improve anything for me. And then there's just the ridiculousness, the brutality of killing the family and stuff, and how they did it. The band, and the fact that it's all going down in this hotel. It's like, get in there and shut up, and then we're going to shoot people and make a ton of noise anyways, and just hope that nobody in this entire fucking motel hears us. And nobody does.
Literally, it was done just to pass time,
right? Until
Spaulding showed up.
Yeah,
and then they go to the brothel. So it's, you could have done without that entire middle section, other than shock and awe.
Yeah, and that is what it felt like.
You saw Sherry Moon's ass,
and we had girl who played Terry on Three's Company.
Which one?
She was the one that got the gun love.
Oh, yeah. And then like the scene where they walk out to get the guns, that didn't need to happen, other than giving Otis a reason to kill people and cut a guy's face off.
We're out here to dig up these guns and stuff that I left out here. Okay, that's great. Well, then what? You're gonna kill us? Well, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. If you want to be so provincial about it, sure. That's a harsh way to say it, but yes, you're not going to live through this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we're gonna try to fight you off. Well, then I'm still digging up the guns by myself. It just, why didn't he just kill them immediately if he's gonna give them all the information? The motivations of Otis, who I like how he speechifies things. I like how he goes off and he's got these kind of like Charles Manson rants to him. That just sounds like he's a religious whack-do that is preaching Satanism and all these other things. but they don't do enough with him to give him the charisma working on somebody. It's just he
Yeah.
just pontificates out loud, and people are just like, yeah, but you're fucking crazy. Like, you want to see someone buying into it. And even the people in his own family don't seem to buy into his bullshit. So maybe that's what it is. He's just like the dumb fucking cousin is, and it's like, yeah, shut up, Toby. You know, we know.
Yeah, and I mean something else that came up in this movie, just crossed my mind, is that Spaulding is really their dad too.
His baby's dad.
I could have swore, unless unless it's just a reference, like the way she said it made it sound like it was also Otis's dad.
When I read the Wikipedia, it was at least confirmed that he was baby's dad, but I don't know if Otis was part of that or not. And so it's again a weird question: is what is the family of the Fireflies? Because we know that Mama was married to somebody else and had kids with them, which I would assume would be Tiny and the other guy.
Yeah.
But and then there was Grandpa. But are they actually blood relatives? And then they don't make really clear ever why they're all using references to Marx Brothers characters. They just say that they do, and they bring in some film expert who goes nuts about like how great Groucho Marx was, and he absolutely was. But then says some shit about Elvis and basically gets his butt kicked out of the fucking police place. I didn't really get what that scene was supposed to achieve, other than the fact that you're telling us all of these character names were used in Groucho Marx movies. It's like, great, but why? What does that do for us, other than the fact that it gives them something to look up when he sends the unholy two to go find them, and that's how they do it. But we didn't need someone to come in and tell us about all the different characters.
Right.
It was just like, I guess because it was the 70s, we didn't have the internet to look this shit up on. But we also didn't need that much exposition either.
Yeah. And like his brother Charlie, like how does that whole thing play out, other than they apparently used to perform crimes together, and
right
now Charlie runs a brothel. And I really hate that I've now watched this movie because you're picking it apart with me. I mean, I still like it, but now it's just like, man, there's all the shit that's wrong with it.
There's shit that's wrong with it, but it doesn't mean that it's a bad movie, you know. And I always preface the fact, just because a movie isn't something that I'm going to like for whatever reason, and I have specific ones on this, it doesn't mean that it's a shit film. I think it's a very good film, in the sense that what Rob was trying to do is, one, it looks so starkly different from the first one, but it feels like an honest continuation of the first one as well. How you can do House of a Thousand Corpses and had all that weird shit, and had, like we talked about last week, it had 3 sections that were almost like 3 different types of movies all pinned together. This takes that middle section and follows through on it in a way that is, you know, realistic to what it was.
There's what, 5 years in between these?
When they were made, but I don't know when they came out. I think it was closer to like a year or so.
I think it's 2 years. I think it was 2003 to 2005, but still 2000. So 5 years, a lot changed. You know, a lot can change in 5 years.
Yeah.
So I guess I see, and there's a very good possibility that he watched House of a Thousand Corpses multiple times and kind of like figured out what he did wrong, or what he thought he did wrong, or he could do better,
or just what he thought his next film, what he wanted the film to be. It's like how Quentin Tarantino does movies about modern day kind of mobster guys, but then he wants his next movie to be about a woman who's going after the guy who ran her crime ring and shot her at her wedding. You know,
yeah.
I don't want to make the same film over and over and over. Although I feel like Zombies definitely made movies that were artistically very similar to each other. I feel like, yeah, he went with, what's the next step for these things? I want to make a road trip movie with people. I guess it was also like a modern day Western in his mind. And involve these characters.
I quickly want to point out that Rob Zombie was the director of an episode of CSI Miami.
Oh, good.
Yeah, sorry.
What
I
did
just
he?
noticed
What did
that.
he have? What did he have David Caruso do with his hands that whole time?
Oh, fucking no. He's like, hey, whatever you do with your hands, do it way more.
Just like always on his sunglasses, and then he stuffs them up someone's vagina, and
Jesus.
which I assume Caruso does anyways. But you talked about how it's been announced that he's working on a third one, which involves I guess the same characters in hell, possibly.
It's fuck, where'd that go? There's a working title. Where are you? The Devil's Rejects 2, 3 from Hell.
Yeah.
So I don't know. People seem to think that there may be some supernatural shit that goes on because everyone, as far as you know, and there's no reason that this is not true, the three of them are dead.
Yeah, I remember when I saw this years ago, the only time that I've actually watched it, and I didn't remember a lot about it. But I remember the ending specifically, and I've always kind of thought, well, do I remember it right, or was it more ambiguous as to whether or not they lived? When I watched it this time, it didn't feel that ambiguous. You see the bullets going into their bodies.
Yeah.
You see them, and the odds were very, very much against them. So it's a brave moment for them when they're just like, we're gonna fucking Thelma and Louise it, essentially. But there was not a moment of, oh, maybe they're gonna be okay. It's like when you see that in a movie, it's like, oh yeah, it's possible that they all survive that, and then the house just fucking blows up and takes the entire block with it, or maybe not. That's essentially what this is like,
right.
Oh, maybe they'll live through. No, they're not living through this. So yeah, if the next movie is them riding through hell or escaping hell or something like that, which seems to go very well with Zombie's artistic sensibilities and filmmaking, and I can imagine him making a movie where they're existing in hell. And kind of the story of this is we see them doing more of the stuff that they do that is so sick and twisted and fucked up. And then at the end, they go through it themselves. Mm-hmm. That is the one thing to that I don't love the turnover of the sheriff and these other guys becoming like them. But that is they get this moment of experiencing this shit that they do to everybody else. And while they never have a moment of showing kind of a regret or an empathy for their victims from that, because it's just immediately from we get tortured to let's get the fuck out of our house and get out of here to, oh, now we're getting shot by 20 cops out on the road. It would be possible that in hell, now that they've experienced this, that they're going to have more of a feeling of what it's like to be the victims and what is their hell like. If you go with a sort of Hellraiser kind of thing, what is their hell like?
So, I mean, are you insinuating that you think that the sequel may be just them in hell?
Them in hell, or them escaping hell, or them taking over hell? Like, if we go back to a supernatural theme, which was part of the first one, but none of the second one. Like, that was my point originally, is if he doesn't want to make the same movie again, what is the next thing that he's going to explore? In that first part we had in that third act, zombies, the dead kind of coming back to life. We had the weird doctor bringing people back. Maybe the weird doctor, Dr. Satan, shows up again and brings them back. But so it's not necessarily a real supernatural hell, but it's the hell of being reanimated killers. And what do they mentally experience? Because it's still going to have to be seen from their point of view. They've been the center characters for the entire series so far. Not what you're into?
No.
You just want another Devil's Rejects.
I do, because I did like it. I like the first two. But I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I have not been impressed with his past couple movies, so I don't really have the highest of hopes.
Yeah, I haven't seen Lords of Salem ever.
Just don't.
Nope. And then 31?
31's not terrible. It's a cool concept. I should rewatch that. It's been a while.
But is Lords of Salem more akin to these or either of them? Because I don't know anything about them. When I see Otis walking through towards the end of House of a Thousand Corpses and you got that makeup on, isn't that similar to what the makeup is on the person on the cover of Lords of Salem?
Yeah, so it's Sherry Moon. So she plays. Now it's been a while since I've seen it, so please keep that in mind. She moves to whatever town, I believe it's Salem, to for whatever fucking reason, a job or something, and she's listening to a local radio station that gets this weird record, and it plays this song, which is this song that puts a trance on her, and I think she ends up getting raped by a bunch of witches or something, and she's supposed to bear the child. You know what? If only there was a place that I could get a synopsis of this movie.
Well, we won't go too far into it because then at that point we could just watch the movie and do a discussion about it. But it's definitely disassociated with the rest of these.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with it. Yeah, so she moves to Salem. She's a drug addict. She works as a DJ at a hard rock radio station. So yeah, I was pretty close there. She receives a strange wooden box containing an album by the band named The Lords. Blah 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 blah. Next day, she's reading a book about Salem witch trials.
So it's a Halloween 3 to the if Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses were Halloween 1 and 2.
Yeah, kind of.
You know, it's like, hey, you know, now you're gonna put on this mask and your face is gonna turn into worms.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I do remember, oh wow, some dude from Marilyn Manson was in this movie. I didn't realize that.
Odds are he didn't either.
2005, he was probably pretty whacked out. The Lords of Salem. Song that they use is actually pretty fucking cool. What's here? So it's just that.
Basically. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like 45 seconds long.
I thought it sounded like Weird Al playing an accordion. I really I didn't know what was going on there.
Yeah, it's just like that sound, and granted, it's not like, you know, rock song of the century, but I thought it was kind of like cool and droney sounding, and that's what apparently puts her into this trance, and then I don't know. I don't know if it's something I want to actually go back to, but yeah, because I was looking forward to the Lords of this movie as well, and it just
I mean, I don't know. I don't have anything to compare it to because I haven't seen it, but I want to say I don't hate this movie. I know I was giving it a bunch of shit going into this just to ramp up the discussion.
Right.
It is not the kind of movie that I enjoy because the just brutality on the band or whatever is just so hard to watch, and it's not like it wasn't hard to watch in the last movie last week as well, but because that one was more cartoonish and this one doesn't have anything really outside of that, it's a little bit tougher. But overall, the soundtrack on this is tremendous. Like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, for 70s music. Yep.
Download right away. Yep. And finishing with Freebird at the end was brilliant. And that whole scene just is brilliantly done. Like, that is a breathtakingly cinematic moment that I think deserves to be up there. And all the characters have very established personalities that it follows along with. You feel like you know these characters by this point, and I can see why you want to root for them and why you want to get more of them. It's better than a lot of other slasher flicks where it's just unnamed, unseen slasher goes and kills people. You know, they've got a personality that you can either relate to or find humorous or whatever. Who doesn't like Captain Spaulding at this point? Sid Haig is just great.
Mhm.
Like getting to see in his fantasies and stuff too is really fun. But
Dude, one of my favorite lines from him in this movie is when he wakes up from his sex dream and his wife is like, "Oh, did you have a nightmare?" And he just goes, good. And, what did he go, like 50-50 or good
yeah,
and bad? Like, he's not wrong. I mean, started out pretty all right. Kind of weird. During that scene, Alyssa looked at me and she's like, "How many times have you seen this movie?" I'm like, "I don't know, a bunch."
and it is weird because while he's the father of baby, he does seem outside of the family. It's not that he's not violent, but he felt at times like he wasn't into the level of violence that they were bringing down that Baby and Otis were.
Right.
And so it kind of makes sense that he's not really in the home. He's overdoing his own thing with the weird museum.
But he's still in the first one. He feeds people to the family if they start asking a lot about Dr. Satan.
Right. Exactly. He's like, he knows where his bread is buttered.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, he's not a good guy at all.
No.
But he's just not. He's doesn't seem like he's into torturing people.
And it was a fun little plot twist at the end of the first one to find out that he's involved with them.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it wasn't extremely surprising because, again, it reminds me of other films. But
and the other thing is, so the cops find at the beginning of this movie, they find the book with the pictures of Spaulding posing with like dead bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for you to say that he wasn't down with their brand of torture, you're kind of wrong because.
Well, no, it's like I've said before, how I don't look directly at the McNugget. I will take the rewards of eating red meat, but I'm not a person who goes out and hunts and kills my own dinner.
Yeah.
Because if I had to think about those things too hard, I would have a real big problem with it, probably.
Right.
Or I'd fucking get over it, which is what I would probably need to do. But it is that thing of like, oh, I'm benefiting from all these dead people, and I don't really mind the dead people, but I'm a little squeamish on torturing people. Because he kills somebody in the first movie. He kills the two guys who come in and try to break in. Yeah. He's an asshole. We know he's not a good guy. We know that he's not working within the law and stuff too, but he doesn't seem to take the pleasure in it that they do. He gets laughs out of it. He's a sick fucking twisted bastard, but he's not at their level of sick and fucking twisted.
Yeah.
And he's more interested in staying alive than he is at going and having fun, except for when it comes to getting tutti frutti.
Tutti fucking fruity.
Yeah, I think it also kind of falls apart for me with the Unholy Two, the two guys, Danny Trejo and the other guy.
Diamond Dallas Page. You fucking say his name.
No.
Oh, all right.
He's in wrestling. Look, I've had to deal with your fucking Goldberg references from Santa Slay enough. He doesn't deserve shit. Yeah, but they go in and we know that they're there to retrieve the family, but then they just kill the two hookers that work at Charlie's for no reason. Like, why? Is it because he thought they were going to talk? They left Charlie alive, and then Charlie actually comes back and starts shit at the end. So
I think it's just another way to like be more gruesome.
Right, exactly. And that's a thing that I have a problem with is there was no reason for those characters to be that gruesome. The sheriff, sure, because he had already gone over the edge. But this is just that makes them as pleased about killing people as the people that they're capturing. So why would the sheriff be okay with working with them? It's like, these are the murderers on my payroll. And that doesn't sit well with me.
Wow, all right. Crabby pants.
Well, this is the issues that I have, and I have to bring them to light.
So fucking crabby all the time.
Yeah, I am. You didn't even tell me what you're drinking. You're not drinking today, are you?
Oh, no, I did. It's gone. It's triple orange starfish.
Is that like citrus up your butthole? What is?
It was a triple IPA. It was all right.
It was all right. I wasn't down.
I wasn't gonna drink because I drank a lot last night, and then it was like noon, and I'm like, man, I could go for a beer. So I had one.
Your breakfast is beer. My breakfast is mac and cheese.
I had macaroni and cheese and chicken for lunch.
And both of us are having our days kind of let down because of these choices we make.
Not me. Best decision I've made. I threw some spinach in there too to be healthy. Don't be jealous.
This is how I live with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a lot more to say about this. It's
Yeah, me neither.
I really liked the people in this movie. We had the guy from the Motley Crue video and The Hills Have Eyes. I forget his name. But it was just great to see him. Minor character, hardly even a piece of it, but fun to have him show up. PJ Souls, I don't know if I already mentioned that she's in this. She's the mom who's taking her kid out to the car. Always love to see her in something. I think it was a really good example of what he wanted to do in a movie. Like he knew this is a story I want to tell in the second one, and it's a quality version of that. It's a rough watch. You know, you got to be someone who enjoys this kind of horror movie specifically, and I don't, but I can still appreciate what was put into it. You know, even for all the flaws and everything that we've kind of pointed out, it's a good film.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look forward to it like you were looking forward to seeing it again.
Fine. Fuck you. You want to rate it?
Yeah, let's rate it.
I mean, you have to go first.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh.
Did I not give you enough reasoning as to why? I mean, 3's.
Oh, not at all. I just, no matter what you said, I was going to sound sad. I'm sticking with my 4 for last week 4 this week.
You should.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
You're not wrong.
No.
About this. You're wrong about so many other things.
Yeah.
You need help.
I do. Do you want to read the outro?
Really? We have one?
Yeah.
You can contact us by leaving us a voicemail at 805-328-3966. You can email us at pot@gncast.com, or you can leave a message on the website. No one ever leaves a message on the website. I don't know why I ask. You know, who talks anymore? Who picks up a phone and talks? And if you're gonna talk, why wouldn't you just use the fucking phone number? That's why we give it to you. That's the easiest fucking thing to do. You don't have to like hammer your fucking fingers on a keyboard like Matt when he's looking up details about a movie that we're not even reviewing. You just hear that clackety clack in the background.
Honestly, I think you can text that number too, just so you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think.
Yeah.
I could find out, but I'm too lazy.
Obviously, we give so much of a shit that we don't even know about these things.
Yep.
You know, you can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're at Podcast of Terror and all those different places. And you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and you can leave us reviews wherever you listen to us, including what was it, Podchaser? Go to ly/pot review.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be upset if someone wanted to review our podcast on like a YouPorn video. Just let me know where it is so I can read it. But that
read it.
Well, let me know where it is so I can masturbate feverishly to the video and then read your review.
What is the category on YouPorn that you will be the most bummed out that they leave the review on that category? Like, oh, this is the video that I have to watch to see my review, but I'm still spanking it to it. What is it?
You know what? I'm actually going to look at the categories on YouPorn real quick.
Categories. It depends on how deep they go. Giggity.
Deep enough. There's like probably a good 50 on here. All right, we have amateur, anal, Asian, BBW, big butt, big tits, bisexual, blonde, blowjob, brunette, casting, college, compilation, cosplay, couples, green pie, cum shots, dildos, DP, ebony, European, facial fantasy, female-friendly fetish, fingering, funny, gay, German, gonzo, hairy, handjob, HD, hentai, homemade, instructional, interracial, Japanese, kissing, Latino, lesbian, massage, masturbation, mature, MILF, orgy, pantyhose, popular with women, POV, public, pussy licking, redhead, rimming, romantic shaved, solo girls, solo male, squirting, straight sex, swallow, teen, threesome, trans, verified amateurs, vintage, virtual reality, voyeur, webcam, young/old, and 3D.
I want that as my ringtone.
just me reading.
just you reading that out. I seriously, when you started, you read it out the first 10 things. I thought that was one category.
Nope. Let's
Blind
see.
albino stump porn. That's what I was expecting. Just
That's got to be a real thing.
I'm sure it is.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know what Gonzo is, and I'm not gonna really get into it right now.
I assume it has to do with Muppets.
Okay, so it's Muppet porn. That one wouldn't be that cool. Maybe
Except for
rimming
somebody
something.
and make them talk.
I just don't want to watch someone lick a butthole.
Yeah, I mean, but you were having McDonald's earlier, and isn't that sort of the same thing?
Not really.
It's close.
One has onions on it.
That's true.
The
But I
other
think caramelized
and
onions.
the other is
That
McDonald's.
matters. Right.
Yeah. Well, show's reached new low. I just read all of the YouPorn categories on our show.
And it only took you 3 breaths. Good for you.
Had I thought I didn't actually think I was going to read them all, but then I started and I'm like, fuck it.
Because at YouPorn, it's important that you finish.
Oh, man. Next week, we're watching a movie called Welcome to Willits. I've never heard of it.
I just saw it on the background last night when I came to bed. My wife was watching it. Both of us thought the other one had put it on. Neither of us knew what the fuck was happening. So it should be a good time.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Corey, where can people find you on the internet?
You know what? I'm here. I show up to this thing. Sometimes I do an Elts Nerd show.
He doesn't like bears.
Occasionally, I'll fucking like post comics to donutcomics.com. And my wife, if you go to, I don't know, arthag.com, you can look up her artwork. And she has a new zine out. It's the second issue of Let Them Eat Cock. Has a lot of really terrific artists who contributed to it. It's pretty awesome. That's it.
Oh, sorry, I was Googling Let Them Eat Cock, which is on Amazon under health and health and personal care.
Yes, never look directly at the cock.
That's weird. You can find me Twitter, Instagram, and Untapped at Matt the Lifeguard. Also, go to amazon.podcastterror.com, shop like you normally would. We get money. Then I can pay off my incredible crack cocaine addiction that I'm trying to start.
Yeah, that's Matt's the royal we. I don't get any money.
Wow. One time we got some money, my wife used it.
Yes.
It was like, hey, you got this gift card. So I applied it. And then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, it's like, thank you for your order. And I looked and she just used the whole thing. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. Thanks a lot.
That's okay. And when I say I don't get any of it, it's really Matt has put all the money into the equipment and stuff for the show and does a lion's share of the work. So I don't feel bad. Plus, he was also one who buys beer for people.
That's because I have to buy my friends.
It's true. Well, you're buying my friends also.
That's true. Checks in the mail, right?
I assume you just send them candy.
No, that gets delivered on a windowless van.
Yes.
All right. That's going to do it for another episode of the Podcast of Terror. Thank you very much for listening. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Stay scary, everybody.